Hello, and this is for those of you that think you might need a little bit of help with our protein synthesis worksheet, especially since this is our first run through with protein synthesis. And so we're currently working on this worksheet here, and it will be helpful for you to have your notes available with you. In particular, you'll need from your notes. This can also be found in your book if you're looking for it to be a little bit more clear. On page 446 of your book, the genetic code diagram. But what we're going to do is walk through the steps of protein synthesis, where we'll take a strand of DNA, translate and transcribe it to make proteins that will later then be used by the cell to perform work by the cell or to be displayed as particular traits within the cell. So the first step in the direction says to fill in the complementary DNA strand using DNA base pair rules. Now it's been a while since we've done that, but our base pair rules say that A pairs with T and G pairs with C. So I'm going to go along this strand of DNA and first fill in the complementary DNA sequence. So A pairs with T, T pairs with A, G pairs with C, G pairs with C, T pairs with A pairs with T, so on and so forth. My next step, I'm going to have a strand of mRNA come up to the DNA strand, and it's going to make a complementary mRNA strand. It's going to go into the nucleus because your DNA is found in the nucleus of your cell. It's going to copy the code and then take the code out of the nucleus and deliver it to a ribosome. Now, if you were absent yesterday with our notes, mRNA has the same matching base sequences aside from one. So mRNA happens to not have the base thymine. Instead, it has the base uracil. So in this case, A pairs with U, and G would pair with C. Now, mRNA does still have adenine, so wherever I would put an adenine down, if this was a DNA strand, I would still put it down for mRNA. So in this case, T would pair with A would pair with U, G would pair with, C would pair with G, C and G, A and U, and T would go with A. This process here of the copying we call transcription. And now that mRNA strand can leave the nucleus and take this off to a ribosome where it can be decoded and proteins can be formed. So what's going to happen here now is that the ribosome, inside the ribosome, these base pairs are going to be broken up into what are called codons. And these code for amino acids. So I'm going to go through the process of what is called translation, where mRNA is going to be translated into amino acid sequences. So my next step translates after I've transcribed the mRNA codons using the codon table. So I have the codon AUG, and so using my genetic code diagram, we start off on the inside and work our way out. AUG codes for methionine. And so We did this yesterday in the notes, but you can always just stick with just writing the first few letters. You want to cram the whole word in there, go for it. But just the first few letters should be sufficient. Now, what's going to happen here, so how this amino acid is going to be formed from this codon. Inside the ribosome is this other type of RNA called tRNA, and the tRNA has a matching complementary anticodon to the mRNA codon. So this tRNA is just traveling up along the mRNA strand, and it's looking for a place to drop methionine based on the complementary codon. So that complementary codon is just going to be the opposite of the codon. So A pairs with U, U would pair with A, and then G would pair with C. Let's go ahead and do one more in case anybody wants one more example. So here I have GUA. So I'm going to break that up into a codon every 3. On my chart, start with G, then we go to U, then we go to A. And that amino acid is called valine. So tRNA is moving up and down the mRNA strand looking for a place to drop the valine amino acid. It will, once it finds its anticodon, find its matching codon, so GUA. The anticodon for that would be CAU. And once it finds its match, it'll drop and place that there. So you'll, of course, continue to do this along this little branch. And then as you go throughout the worksheets, there'll be some words for you to circle. And then once you are done, there is a key posted that you can use to check your answers on this assignment to make sure that everything looks good and everything's going A-OK. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow.